Moving on to selecting list items. So oftentimes when you have a list, you want to select a single item in it. So let's take a look at my list again. So we created this list above and we still have it in our Jupyter Notebook. So the way you select items in a list is the same as selecting a character with a string. You append these square brackets to your variable name, and then you put in the index of the item you wish to retrieve. So in this case, the index again begins at 0, and this is true for all of these data structures that we'll cover. And so we have to give it some integer here. So 0 will simply be the first item, which is 9. And let's just go ahead and select several more. So a list of, say, the fourth item, which has index 3. That's this one, 3.14. You can use negative indices. So -1 will get the last item. -5 will get the fifth from the end. So 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, the string Python. So that's how you retrieve single items in your list. Just use the square brackets and append them to the list name. So again, here we're using those same square brackets. The square brackets are used to create a list, but they are also used for selecting one or more items. And the difference between them is whenever the square brackets are appended directly to a variable name, that is for selection. Otherwise, they are creating lists themselves. All right, let's move on to using slice notation. So we saw this before. It works the exact same way as strings, and it has 3 components: start, stop, and step. Each component is separated by a colon. Oftentimes you will not see the step. It is defaulted to 1. So let's do that again. And in fact, let's just put my list over here. Let's just output it so we can see it once again. So let's say we want to go from index location 3 up to but not including 6. So we'll do this. We'll get these 3 items. It creates a new list. That's what is produced. So notice here the output was a single item. Over here it is a new list. So it just says, hey, I'm going to go from 3 up to but not including 6. Let's just see another slice. We can go from 2 to -2. So the start is 2, the stop is -2. So it'll stop over here. It won't include that one. So let's do this. And we can see it goes from this one all the way to that one. So it creates a new list. Now you don't even have to put the start or the step. So we can have a start of nothing. There's no start. And we can go up to the index 5, but not including it. So this will go from the beginning, so from the very first item, up to but not including index 5. That's a very cool way to just get the first first n. You can get the last 5 like this, so we can start at -5 and go all the way to the end. So that's very cool. It doesn't have to be a negative. We could have made this some other number, but that's how you go to the end, is just leave out the end. You can also, now let's see how we can change the step size. So let's go from, say, 3 to 12 and go by 2. So here we're going to step by 2. So we're going to go from 3 to, but not including 12, stepping by 2. So every other one. So by default, this step size is 1. It just grabs every single one. You can change this to any number you want. All right, so you can have a negative step size. This is very strange to do. Let's go look at my list again so we can have it in plain view. So here, let's say I want to go from maybe like the 6th item down to this 2. So this looks bizarre. Normally this one wouldn't really work. It actually would return an empty list. But if you start at a higher number and go down to a lower number, you can do this, but you have to have a negative step size. So you're going to go down, like from 6 down to 2. So it will reverse these items. So it goes from the index 6 down to, but not including index 2, which is this one. So it's going to select these items right here, but in reverse order. So not something you do very often, but I just wanted to bring it up for completeness. And then we saw this with strings. You can reverse a list if you don't have any start, any stop, but have a step size of -1. So really kind of bizarre syntax. There's no start, there's no stop, but there is a -1 as the step size, and this will just reverse the list completely. All right, so that is it for selecting items from a list. It works very similarly as a string. You can select single items with just one index and multiple items with the slice notation.